In the mysterious lands of Area 51, a group of people suddenly find themselves in a peculiar situation. They are confused and have no memory of how they arrived there. Little do they know, they are about to be a part of an experiment, one that might involve humans or even something from beyond our world. Meanwhile, a team of 3 soldiers is on a secret mission inside a laboratory. Things take a terrifying turn when an unknown creature starts hunting them down. It picks them off one by one, leaving only a single soldier alive, frantically shooting into the darkness. In another part of the Area 51 base, 4 individuals slowly wake up in a room with no windows. Among them are Hannah, who works for the Department of Defense as an auditor, a brave soldier named Gail Sullivan, Russell Turner from Civil Services, and a Russian man named Dmitri, shrouded in mystery. As they regain their senses, Hannah asks what is happening. Russell, unsure himself, explains that it could either be a practice drill or that something very important and secret is happening on the base, which is why they are locked in. The group noticed cotton swabs on their arms, and Russell commented on the less than ideal treatment of Area 51 employees. He explained that such procedures were standard here and they couldn't change it. Hannah spotted a red card in Russell's hand and asked about it. Russell replied that the card meant he was the leader for whatever they were going through. Gail coughed and Russell turned to her, recognizing a familiar face. He tried to chat, mentioning that they had worked together before. Russell then shared stories with Hannah, who revealed her important job as a security auditor for the Department of Defense, giving advice on keeping the country safe. As Russell talked about his life and work, Dmitri didn't seem interested and scoffed at their conversation topic. Russell noticed Dmitri's Russian accent and tried to learn more about him, but Dmitri kept his past a mystery. Just then, the lights start flickering. Dmitri looks around carefully and listens through the walls. He hears the backup generators very close by and realizes that they are no longer on the north side of the base. They are now underground. Dmitri decides to open the door and go out, but Russell stops him. Russell says they don't know what's outside and opening the door could let in something dangerous. Dmitri argues with him, wanting to check outside, but Hannah agrees with Russell and says they should wait a little while before doing anything risky. Next, Gail wakes up and realizes she is covered in blood from a wound on her neck. She looks around in shock, seeing that she is now completely alone in the room. Suddenly, she hears someone banging loudly on the door. She carefully moves toward the door, but before she can open it, she hears classical music playing from the other direction. Curious and nervous, she walks toward the music. Out of nowhere, a ghostly figure with glowing eyes appears behind her and then vanishes just as quickly. She turns around and screams as something comes rushing toward her. Next, Gail finds herself strapped to a table, her back open up with someone about to tend on her. She then wakes up in the room, screaming, realizing it was all a nightmare. Russell, Hannah, and Dmitri rush to calm her down as she cries out in fear. Dmitri tries to head for the door again, but Russell blocks him. They start fighting, and Hannah desperately tries to stop them. Gail finally calms down and tells them to stop. Russell then places a chair in front of the door and sits on it, keeping watch as he tries to sleep. Hannah talks to Dmitri, asking why he's so anxious. Dmitri explains that if the backup generators are running, it means there's no power on the base, which is very worrying. He then asks Hannah what she remembers from that morning. She replies that she doesn't remember being drugged and brought to this room. Dmitri talks about having breakfast with his brother, but that can't be true because his brother passed away years ago. Somehow their memories of this morning seem wrong. He asks Hannah what day she thinks it is, and she says Monday. But for Dmitri, it feels like Thursday, which confuses Hannah. Gail asks Russell to check the back of her neck for any injuries because her dream felt so real. Russell checks and says there's nothing wrong. Suddenly, the power goes out, and Dmitri realizes the backup generator has failed. Outside, only one soldier is left, still shooting at something. The power comes back on, and right away Dmitri attacks Russell. Russell fights back while Hannah tries to leave, but Gail stops her. Just then, a terrified soldier who has been running through the facility arrives at the door begging to be let in. Gail asks the newcomer for his name, and he introduces himself as Master Sergeant Ryan Pierce. They allow him into the room, but Dmitri is quick to grab his gun, wary of the stranger. Ryan then shares troubling news. The entire base has been evacuated, but he doesn't know why. However, he reassures them that help will arrive if they stay put. Hannah demands answers about why they've been left behind, but Ryan is as clueless as they are. He can only recall waking up in the same place. When Gail coughs, Ryan becomes concerned and asks her how long she's been coughing, sensing something amiss. However, Gail evades giving a direct response. Dmitri dismisses Ryan's reassurance, convinced that no one is coming for them. He suggests venturing through the tunnels nearby, which lead to Gate 1. Despite Ryan's warning about the tunnels, Dmitri remains resolute in his plan. ignoring the caution. Hannah suspects Ryan is hiding something, but he dodges her questions. Dimitri asks Ryan for directions to the elevator, but Ryan refuses to join their escape plan. Gail, who outranks Ryan, insists he must come along. Ryan resists at first, refusing to acknowledge her authority. However, when Dimitri brandishes the gun, Ryan understands he means business. Reluctantly, he agrees to lead the way to the elevator. As they head towards the elevator, Gail's health takes a turn for the worse. Meanwhile, Dimitri discovers that the elevator is out of service due to a facility-wide lockdown. With the stairs not reaching low enough to access the tunnels, Dimitri decides they need to hack into the elevator's control panel to get it working. To do this, they head to an upstairs lab to grab some tools. Gail's condition deteriorates, making it difficult for her to walk. She and Ryan opt to wait in the lab while the others work on fixing the elevator. As they descend, Hannah finds herself separated from the others, a chilling presence lurking in the shadows. Then a child's voice pierces the air, calling out, "Mama!" sending a shiver down her spine. With unrest mounting around her, she dashes to reunite with the others. Meanwhile, upstairs, Ryan's sharp eyes catch sight of a bite-like wound on Gail's neck, her condition rapidly worsening. Amidst the tense atmosphere, they hear strange movements outside. Gail insists they alert the others, but Ryan argues it's futile. Defiant, Gail commands him to step aside, determined to take action. As she steps out, Ryan locks the door behind her, his actions shrouded in mystery. In the depths below, Hannah and the group are unsettled by the growing commotion. They hastily flee, only to encounter a terrifying alien presence, driving them back to the safety of the lab, their hearts racing with fear and confusion. Ryan initially refuses to open the door, but when Dimitri points his gun at him, he relents, allowing them into the safety of the lab. They quickly lock themselves inside as the alien entity prowls nearby, unable to find them. With tension high, Hannah and the others demand to know Gail's whereabouts. Ryan reluctantly reveals that she left, sparking frustration among the group. He defends his decision, explaining that Gail is sick with a likely alien disease, making her a lost cause. He emphasizes that she knew the risks and likely knows more than they do. However, Hannah surprises everyone by revealing her knowledge about the aliens' arrival in the 1950s and their subsequent confinement for human study. This revelation challenges Ryan's assumption about Gail's superior knowledge. When asked about the aliens' intentions, Hannah explains that their sole objective seems to be evolution, driving their increasing strength and danger over time. Russell, refusing to leave Gail alone, sets off to find her, leaving Dimitri to work on the elevator. Dimitri hands him the gun for protection. Russell locates Gail lying alone on a lower floor, but as he approaches her, he's horrified to see one side of her face mutated, her eyes glowing like the aliens. He retreats but finds himself trapped in a dark corridor, the alien closing in on him from the other side. Back in the lab, Hannah hears gunshots echoing from the lower floors, signaling Russell's confrontation with the alien. She tries to leave, but Ryan stops her, warning that she'll attract the aliens. Dimitri intervenes, pushing Ryan away, but ultimately agrees that going out is futile. However, Ryan notices the same bite-like wound on Dimitri's neck that he saw on Gail, realizing Dimitri's also infected. In a bid to ensure his own survival, Ryan attacks Dimitri with a screwdriver. However, during the struggle, Dimitri turns the screwdriver around, fatally stabbing Ryan in the heart. The altercation ends with Ryan's demise, leaving the survivors in shock and uncertainty. Horrified by Dimitri's actions, Hannah listens as he reveals his tragic past. Dimitri shares that his brother died after falling through the ice on a frozen lake, and he blames himself for not being brave enough to save him. This guilt has haunted him ever since. As they discuss their regrets amidst the chaos of the moment, Hannah opens up about her own remorse for prioritizing work over spending time with her daughter, Emily. Now she fears she won't have the chance to make amends. However, Dimitri disagrees, determined to fix the situation. He vows to get the elevator working to escape the danger. With resolve, Dimitri retrieves the screwdriver from Ryan's chest, and they make their way downstairs. Along the journey, Dimitri's health begins to deteriorate, mirroring Gail's condition. Despite his sickness, Dimitri perseveres, focusing on getting the elevator operational to ensure their survival. As Hannah investigates the commotion, she follows the noise to the stairs, unaware of the lurking alien behind her. When she turns around and spots it, fear propels her into a sprint. She holds the alien back at the stairway door, buying time. Meanwhile, Dimitri successfully gets the elevator working. Faced with a crucial decision between saving himself or helping Hannah, he chooses to assist her. Jamming the screwdriver in the door, they make a makeshift barrier to delay the aliens' advance. Despite the improbability of the physics involved, it buys them enough time to reach the elevator. As they descend, relief washes over them momentarily. However, their respite is short-lived as something violently shakes the entire elevator, causing the power to cut out abruptly, leaving them in darkness and uncertainty. In the darkness of the elevator, Dimitri's condition deteriorates rapidly, mirroring Gail's fate. His eyes begin to glow like the aliens, and he launches into a frenzied attack on Hannah, pleading for help. Faced with no other option, Hannah defends herself, wielding a pipe wrench and ultimately killing Dimitri to end his suffering. As if guided by an unbelievably convenient twist of fate, the elevator suddenly springs to life, descending to the lowest levels. Hannah finds herself immersed in the same haunting, classical music that Gail heard in her dream. Instead of retreating from the ominous sound, she moves towards it, compelled by an inexplicable force. As she walks, the voices of countless people fill the air around her, despite her being alone. Unbeknownst to her, two aliens trail closely behind. Suddenly, she turns to find herself surrounded by the eerie presence of the aliens. One of them sneaks up from behind, striking her unconscious. While unconscious, Hannah experiences a vivid flashback of a car accident involving her daughter, Emily, offering a glimpse into her troubled past. As Hannah is dragged by the alien, the thought of her possibly injured daughter waiting for her at home ignites a fierce determination within her. In a desperate bid for survival, she grabs a screwdriver and plunges it into the alien's side, forcing it to release its grip. Seizing her chance, Hannah breaks free and sprints towards the tunnels Dimitri mentioned. With the alien hot on her heels, Hannah navigates the narrow tunnels, her heart pounding with fear. Suddenly, she realizes the tunnels are fragile, their structure precarious. As the alien grabs her leg, she acts quickly, kicking at the wooden supports holding the tunnel in place. With a loud crack, the tunnel collapses, burying the alien beneath the rubble. After a grueling journey, Hannah finally reaches the surface, where she spots a military vehicle approaching in the distance. Relief floods her as she realizes help has arrived. The next thing she knows, Hannah wakes up in a hospital bed, disoriented and bewildered. A doctor informs her that her daughter is here for a visit. However, when Hannah sees her daughter, she is shocked to find her all grown up, a stark contrast to the image she had in her mind. To add to her confusion, Hannah discovers the same bite-like wound on her neck that Gail and Dimitri had. Doubt creeps in as she questions whether the person before her is truly her daughter or if this is yet another manipulation by the aliens, similar to the mind games they played with Gail at the start of their ordeal. And with this, the movie comes to an end. Thanks for tuning in, guys.